What is up, guys? This is Orca Flop, and today I'm coming at you with another video. And today we're going to talk about the elimination race in round 2 of the playoffs for the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. Sorry if the camera quality is worse than usual because I'm doing this on my iPad. It's not as good as my phone. So, yeah, great quality content. So we just finished the Kansas race, the 2018 Hollywood Casino 400, and let's review it. So we go green for stage 1, and Chase Elliott, or not Chase Elliott, Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney and Kevin Harvick start up front. Logano gets the early lead. Blaney goes up to second. Harvick goes up to third. And Logano basically just dominates the entire stage until William Byron blows an engine midway through stage 1. And then other teams are going to have to make pit calls. Like Keselowski, Blaney, and someone else. I forgot who it was. They decided to take 2 tires. While Logano and Harvick, and then they take 4. By the way, before Byron blew his engine, and literally the first lap, Suarez hit the wall, collecting Alex Bowman, and Alex Bowman was up to 8th at the time. And then Bowman, I think, cut a tire as well, and Ross Chastain smacked the wall, and he went down. But none of those were cautions until Byron blew his engine, and there was fluid all over the racetrack. And then guys like Keselowski and Ryan Blaney take 2 tires, and they stay out. So that means, Logano and Harvick have the advantage tire wear wise. So we go green. Ryan Blaney actually gets the early jump. Keselowski falls like a rock, and I think McMurray also took 2 tires, I want to say. Brad Keselowski was falling out like a rock. He was 18 points below at this point, like he previously was going into this race. And then, Logano catches up to Ryan Blaney. It's a good, hard battle for the lead at the end of stage 1 between Blaney and Logano. And Logano ends up taking the lead, and then Harvick passes Ryan Blaney as the laps continue. Joey Logano wins stage 1 at Kansas. So good for Logano. Obviously, he needs those points for the round of 8 in order to move on. At this point, guys like Truex, Kurt Busch, and Ryan Blaney were very up and down in the cutoff. At one point, Truex was 2 points out. At one point, Kurt Busch was 2 points above. At one point, Clint Bowyer was 2 points above, and such. Me being a Truex fan, I was freaking out because I was like, well, obviously, Truex doesn't have the speed today. How are we going to do this? So, Truex didn't have the speed, neither did Bowyer and Kurt Busch. Blaney was the only one out of those 4 that really had the speed. But at this point, it was like Bowyer, Truex, and Blaney are on top, and then Kurt Busch would be on the bottom later, as I'll explain why. Because when Keselowski took 2 tires, he dropped that many points, and he lost many positions, to the point where Paul Wolfe has to throw a Hail Mary strategy-wise. So that continues, and we go green for stage 2. Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick stood up front. Logano gets the early lead. We continue to go. Truex and the rest of them are jumping up and down positions. As we go into pit road for stage 2, I believe it was Harvick, Blaney, and Logano that went into pit road. And out of those 3, Blaney got the better pit stop, and Blaney ended up, not Blaney. Harvick ended up getting the better pit stop, and he got ahead of both Logano and Blaney. Blaney ended up getting out second, and then Logano got out third. As Brad Keselowski at this point, he's just staying out pit road, trying to get as much positions and points as he can, seeing what he can do with the car that's really wasn't good the entire race. He's just doing whatever he can do. So he ends up going into pit as well as Jamie McMurray. At this point, during the green flag pit stops, Kurt Busch got a tire violation with Clint Bowyer, but Clint Bowyer was still above, but Kurt Busch ended up going down to 29th and going a lap down, and Kurt Busch was now 2 points out, as Truex was 5 points in, Blaney was 2 points in, and so was Clint Bowyer. So, we end up going through the stage. Kevin Harvick wins stage 2. At this point, Harvick is locked into the round of 8, as well as Joey Logano from the points he accumulated in stage 1 when he won it, and the points he accumulated in stage 2 for finishing third. And then we go down to pit road for stage 3, and Harvick gets out first, Chase Elliott gets out second. Larson, who has been making his way up through the field, running the high side with a backup car, may I remind you, because he wrecked his primary car in practice. Him, Kyle Busch, and Truex are gaining spots on pit road. Very interesting to see. So Chase Elliott and Harvick start up front. We go green. The bottom line checks up a little bit with Larson on the bottom holding everyone up. Guys like Jimmy Johnson and Alex Bowman are able to move up with the top. As Ryan Blaney now moves up to second. As Logano starts to drop back a little bit, really wasn't much of a contender at this point because I think he was on the bottom as well. He suffered from being on the bottom. He was battling with Jimmy Johnson at one point. So as Harvick's leading, Ryan Blaney's second, and Chase Elliott is third. And then as the laps go on, nothing really happens. I think we go... Yeah, no, I'll get to that later. Chase Elliott actually is faster than Ryan Blaney. Him and Ryan Blaney battle it out for a little bit. Ryan Blaney, this is the changing factor in the... Right, no, that's not it. Never mind. Sorry, I'm just getting everything screwed up right here because I'm stupid. Chase Elliott ends up passing Ryan Blaney and taking second, and he's trying to run down Kevin Harvick at this point. Blaney falls back to third, as Larson at this point is in fourth, and he's trying to chase down Ryan Blaney, and he ends up doing so, and he tries to pull a slide job on Blaney, but before he does that, Blaney... Actually, no, it was after he does that. Blaney maintains third, Larson drops back to fourth, then gets passed by Kyle Busch. And then, Kyle Busch tries to run down Kyle Busch tries to run down Ryan Blaney. Larson passes Kyle Busch back. And as Larson's running down Blaney, these two are battling for third, may I remind you. These two are battling for third at this time. Blaney scrapes the wall and he falls back. Both Larson and Kyle Busch pass him. Kyle Busch passes Larson and Blaney on the bottom, and Blaney's from scraping the wall. He ended up being a non-factor because I think the fenders damaged his car to the point where he's got no chance. So it really sucks for Ryan Blaney, and this would really devastate him later in the race. So Blaney ends up scraping the wall. He's dropping back to 7th and 6th. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch, and before this, we go into green flag pit stops. Kevin Harvick gets a speeding penalty, similar to Dover, how he got a penalty when he was leading the race. So Harvick gets penalized. That means Chase Elliott is the leader, and then Kyle Busch is second, and Larson is third. Larson managed to be third, and Truex, my boy Truex, was fifth. At this point, Truex was above the cutoff by 7 points. Kurt was above by 1 point, and then Boyer was up by 3 points. At this point, as well, because Blaney scraped the wall and he lost positions, Blaney was below 2. Keselowski was below 20, Larson by 28, and then Alex Bowman by 69. I know, right? Funny, haha. As we close down to the laps, Chase Elliott's got a solid lead. He's in the clean air. He gets by Ryan Newman and the rest of the lap cars. Kyle Busch starts to run him down, and as Busch is running Chase Elliott down, Larson was actually probably conserving his car, and he was trying to make a run at Kyle Busch at the end of this thing. So he ends up running down Kyle Busch, and those two battle for second. And Chase Elliott pulls away, and Chase Elliott wins at Kansas, gets his third career win, third win of the season, fourth win for Chevy. And Chase Elliott, he gets his third win of the season, and he proves that Chase Elliott is a factor in this championship. And maybe he could be a deserving spot in the championship four at this point. Chase Elliott's got 3 wins now, Watkins Glen, Dover, and now Kansas. Won the Mountain Dew car, which is pretty awesome. So congrats to Chase Elliott. And this, he won 2 out of the 3 races in the round of 12. He won Dover, and then now he won Kansas. Talladega was won by Eric Almirola. So Chase Elliott carries extra bonus points, and now he's 4th in points going into the round of 8. And Truex ended up finishing 5th. Let's go. Truex really didn't have the car all day, not as we expected. He started the race in 10th, and Truex kind of fell up and down. I think really where Truex game was pit road, so that was good. Kyle Busch had a similar situation where his car wasn't the best, but it came out better in the end because of pit road and all that stuff. Larson had a down day, except, in the end of the runs, you give Larson that long run, he's able to make the high side work, and he's able to be a contender. So that's always cool for Larson. So Larson finishes third after trying to pull a slide job on Kyle Busch, but that didn't work. So Kyle Busch Chase Elliott wins. That's awesome. I'm happy for Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott wins at Kansas. Carries extra bonus points in the round of 8, and now he's 4th in points. Kyle Busch gets 2nd. Kyle Larson gets 3rd. I think Blaney got 4th, and then Truex got 5th. So that's good for Truex. Now, Who was eliminated from this round? Ryan Blaney, because of, again, I think scraping the wall for Ryan Blaney. I think that's what killed him. Plus that he hasn't really had the speed this entire round. Plus the Talladega, the Stewart-Haas cars were unbeatable. So, yeah. So Ryan Blaney is eliminated. He got eliminated by 2 points. Brad Keselowski's got 3 wins this season. Darlington, Indianapolis, and Las Vegas. Guy's got 3 wins this season. He is eliminated because he chose to take that 2-tire strategy and jumped way too many positions. Tried to stay out and catch a caution twice, but it never prevailed. Keselowski ended up getting eliminated because he ran out of gas at Talladega and wrecked at Dover. It's amazing that this format's so good that a guy with 3 wins in a season can get eliminated. Great job, NASCAR. You've really done yourself well. So Keselowski's eliminated. Kyle Larson is eliminated after finishing 3rd. He could have pulled it off had it maybe been 10 to 15 laps longer if he could run down Chase Elliott in a backup car. So one hell of a race Larson drove to finish 3rd out of this. So good job for Larson. A decent season for Larson. He really hasn't had speed since Chicagoland. So, and then Bowman, he actually had a pretty decent run. He was probably a top 10 car, but Bowman scraped the wall a couple of times, and he ended up getting eliminated by 69 points, I want to say. So the 4 eliminated: Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, and Alex Bowman. Keselowski should probably be in the next round, but nothing can happen. Blaney just wasn't consistent enough, to be honest with you. Same with Bowman and Larson. They've just been doing terrible this season. So those are the 4 eliminated from the round of 12. The 8 that will advance: Kyle Busch advanced on points. Kevin Harvick advanced on points. My boy Truex barely advanced on points. 7 points to the good. So yes, somehow we made it into the next round because we were really below the cutoff the entire race. So Truex, Chase Elliott now is 4th in points with 3 wins in the season. Watkins Glen, Dover, and Kansas now. He's 4th in points. Now we got Clint Bowyer 5th in points. Obviously, Bowyer had an up and down day as well, and so did Kurt Busch, Kurt Busch also made it in. And so did Joey Logano. He made it in on points, and Eric Almirola also made it in on the Talladega win he had last week. So those are your 8. Moving on, 4 of the Stewart-Haas cars are in. 1 Hendrick car, 1 Penske car, 1 Furniture Row car, 1 Gibbs car. How's this going to be looking forward? I think it's going to be pretty competitive for Martinsville and Texas. I'm just hoping Truex makes it in the Final Four. You just need to have good, consistent runs. But, we need to show more speed for sure. At Texas, I think we need to show more speed for sure. Chase Elliott will probably be consistent. I think every driver is just going to be consistent all around because these are the guys who've really been showing their speed and talent level this season. So I think it's going to be a really close battle. Ultimately, I give this race actually a 7 out of 10 because honestly, I thought, even though we didn't, have particularly good racing, I thought Stage 1 was pretty entertaining with the battle between Blaney and Logano. Stage 2 was interesting because you had the points battle in racing. Stage 3 was pretty entertaining because I thought Kyle Busch was able to run down Chase Elliott. Maybe we'd have a good finish. So honestly, the racing, it wasn't too bad in my opinion. It could be worse at Texas and Kentucky, but at least Kansas is a 3-groove racetrack where you can run 3 grooves and have a chance. So that's the thing that makes Kansas like Chicagoland and pretty good to me. So congrats to Chase Elliott getting your 3rd win of the season, getting Chevy's 4th win of the season, and in your 3rd career win. So good for Chase Elliott. I'm happy he won. Truex got 5th. That's always nice, especially after the day we've had in the car that we've run. So that's pretty nice. Sucks for Blaney, especially Keselowski having 3 wins this season. That's just great. This Chase format's so consistent, right? Keselowski, it sucks he's eliminated. Blaney just wasn't consistent enough. Bowman just... You know what? I think Bowman should just pat himself on the back. He actually had a decent run at Kansas today, and he showed that he had somewhat mile-and-a-half speed, like Chase Elliott did today. And Chase Elliott ended up winning the race. So, for Bowman, his first year at Hendrick, I think it's a pat on the back to make it to the round of 12 and then get eliminated. So, round 3 is going to be interesting as well. Kyle Larson obviously could have had a better season had Chicago not happened. We'll get to that later. So... Larson really just didn't have the season that he should have. What more can you say? Let's go, my boy Truex is third in points. I want to say third in points. Thank God we made it to this round. We only made it this round by 7 points, so that's not great, but it's good. Chase Elliott made it. So did Kurt Busch, Almirola, Logano, and others. So it's going to be interesting to see how round 3 plays out. Obviously, you got Martinsville, Texas with the one groove racetrack, and then Phoenix. I think is going to be the wild card race since we got a new configuration at Phoenix. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I don't know if Harvick's still going to be great at Phoenix, or we might get something like we did at the Roval. So, and then obviously you have Homestead. So it's going to be interesting to see how round 3 plays out. I personally, I think the final four as it is right now, I think it's how it's going to be. I think Busch at this point, I think Busch, Harvick, Truex, and Chase Elliott. I think those will be the final four. I think it looks pretty explanatory right now, if that's the words I should choose. So congrats to Chase Elliott on winning at Kansas. Let's go Truex. Let's get to the final four. Let's run for another championship before Furniture Row dies. Thanks for watching this video. Give the race 7 out of 10. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.